The South African National Editors Forum, that SANEF, has come out in support of journalist Karyn Maughan. She's asking the Pietermaritzburg High Court in KwaZulu-Natal to throw out former President Jacob Zuma's private prosecution. Zuma has accused Maughan of publishing his confidential medical report, which he claims was leaked to her by prosecutor Billy Downer. Zuma has also instituted a private prosecution against Downer. Downer is the prosecutor in Zuma's arms deal corruption trial, but the former president wants him to be removed, claiming that Downer is biased. Meanwhile, media solidarity in support of Maughan is growing. The Editors Forum is picketing outside the courthouse. For more on this, we are joined now by the forum's Qaanita Hunter. Qaanita, good afternoon. Welcome to today, and thank you very much for your time. Your act of solidarity, I'm sure, is very much well appreciated by Karyn Maughan.
Absolutely. We are obviously gathered in Pietermaritzburg this morning to say one thing and one thing alone, which is journalism is not a crime. For a former president to abuse court process, to abuse his power, to seek to privately prosecute a journalist is an attempt to criminalize journalism. All Karyn Maughan did was a report on a court document, a publicly available court document filed by Zuma's legal team in his corruption case. And they are trying to subvert a process, but also to shift the attention away from his criminal trial to a sideshow, which is the private prosecution of journalist Karyn Maughan, as well as prosecutor Billy Downer.
Yeah, I mean, if this document was publicly available that Karyn has reported on, surely Zuma doesn't have a leg to stand on.
And that's why we are in court. We were in court on Monday, and she's back in court today, asking the Pietermaritzburg High Court to dismiss the former president's bid to privately prosecute her. The counsel for Maughan and Billy Downer saying to the court that this is nothing but an abusive process and part of long-standing Stalingrad legal strategy by the former president. He has tried to delay and obfuscate in relation to his criminal matter. At the end of the day, this is an effort to intimidate a journalist who has been reporting on Zuma's case for more than a decade.
Yeah, and I doubt very much that Karyn would be intimidated, and she won't keep quiet. But I mean, I'm just trying to think. Do you think it's really the delaying tactics, or Karyn Maughan? I don't know how this will come out as I'm saying it, but sort of got caught in the middle of the real target by Zuma, which is Billy Downer.
I think that there's twofold happening here, Brad. And the first is obviously, then an effort to push Billy Downer off the case. And yes, one may argue that Karyn would be collateral damage in that regard, even though there's an affidavit before the court that says that another prosecutor, another official from NPA had given the documents, publicly available documents, to journalists, and it was not Billy Downer who did that. That's the first part of it. And the second part of it is that this is definitely a deliberate attempt to criminalize journalism and to create that chilling effect that should any other journalist dare to report on such matters with the integrity and the persistence that Karyn Maughan has done, that they could face a similar fate. This is definitely an attempt to intimidate her, and more importantly, this is an effort, Bradan, to stop her from prosecuting in the case, because now she's embroiled in the legal battles. We as News 24 took the decision that we will not remove her from the case, as she now, we're backing her application to have the matter dismissed.
Yeah, I know that SANEF is not the only organization that's expressing publicly its support for Karyn Maughan, including I've seen individual journalists on social media coming out and say we stand with Karyn Maughan. But the significance of what you've just said in your answer, the it makes me think we've just marked Human Rights Day. Our Constitution has got a Bill of Rights, that's Chapter 2. Media freedom is a cornerstone of this democracy. Do you think there are lessons here that we should be taking out of it, we in the media, as we watch these developments?
Absolutely, but I mean, we have a constitutionally derived mandate under Section 16 of the Constitution for media to report fairly, to report without fear or favor. Now the point is that an attack on one journalist is an attack on our entire fraternity, because whatever is said this morning, Qaanita Hunter came to confront some of us who were picketing outside the court to say this is not a matter of media freedom. Of course it's a matter of media freedom. This is a direct attack and threat against media freedom in South Africa, because Karyn Maughan was simply doing her job. And any action against one journalist has that intention to create a lesson for other journalists, and to create an element of fear, as we've seen in so many other scenarios. And so this here is not about journalists getting into a political fray or inserting ourselves in legal battles of the former president. This is, we never ever want to be the story as journalists. But today we had to put on our activist hat and say that this is a direct threat against media freedom. And at the end of the day, this is an effort to criminalize journalism. And if we do not speak out against this, that freedom that we enjoy under Section 16 of the Constitution will be taken away from us right in front of our noses.
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is, in recent years, as we conclude, Qaanita, is that we have seen incidents almost like this, or different, where individual journalists were targeted by different politicians for different reasons. And it's very important that we stand up for media freedom. We stand up for what Section 16 of our Constitution promises us.
Absolutely. And I mean, first it was the intimidation, then the cyber misogyny online, then the harassment and trolling. Now for a former president to privately prosecute in her personal capacity a journalist for doing nothing else but reporting on a case that she's been reporting on for over a decade, almost 2 decades now, is absolutely ludicrous. This is not, simply just random. This is completely targeted, and again has all of the hallmarks of trying to intimidate journalists. And Bradan, again, today we are not here to comment on the merits of Jacob Zuma's criminal case. He must go and face the courts. He must not try to create sideshows to delay his criminal matter, as we've seen happen over the course of the last few years.
Okay, and as we conclude, Juanita, what's next? Can you just share with our viewers what's next in the trial? What's going to be happening next?
Well, as you may know, that Dalimpofu is obviously responding in the court action today. That court sitting is currently underway. There'll obviously be judgment in the matter on whether our application or Karyn Maughan's application and Advocate Balidana's application to dismiss the private prosecution is successful or not. If it is successful, this is the end of the matter, and the matter is now moves to the criminal case where the former president must go and defend himself. If it's not successful, then obviously there would be the private prosecution. That trial will have to continue. But hearing arguments on Monday by advocates Badlinda Senior and Junior, we believe that Karyn Maughan and Advocate Balidana have a solid case, and that is why we as SANEF are supporting her, and we have been extremely encouraged by civil society who have come out, Right to Know campaign, and other organizations coming out to join in on the solidarity action for Karyn Maughan, because this is not about Karyn Maughan. This is an effort to stand up against targeted intimidation and bullying by a former president against a single journalist.
Thank you very much, Juanita Hunter from the South African National Editors Forum.